Gabe, do you remember a little show from the 60s, which I'm not saying we watched it in the 60s, we weren't fucking around then. But uh I know they played it heavily on the Nickelodeons in the early 90s anyway. Uh Flipper, the dolphin. Flipper,
I'm familiar. Yeah.
king of the ocean. uh so the reason I started thinking about Flipper is one of my sons has like this little stuffed dolphin thing, and he was just running around playing with it. And my wife referred to it as Flipper, and of course he's 7. He has no idea what the fuck that is. And so she showed him the opening credits to Flipper, and now he's enamored with it, wants to watch it all the time. I've heard that theme song probably 1,000 times the last few nights. But it started to get me thinking about that show because I used to watch it all the time. And me and the wife were trying to remember stuff from the show. And I'm just like, all I remember was them two dumbass ginger kids. And I was like looking at this, yo, Sparrow, what up? Um, hey,
It's a
but
sparrow.
I just remember, and I was like looking it up, and then I think my wife remembered that one of them was named Sandy, and I was just like, that's a weird name for a kid in the 60s, you know? I mean, if you were like in Greece or something, that makes sense. But and then the other one was Bud, and I'm like
All right,
but
bud.
apparently this show ran from 64 to 67, and there was a total, this is the main thing I wanted to look up. There was 88 episodes of this show. Now, I used to watch this show all the time, and I cannot really remember a whole lot of plot points. But just off the back of my hand, I could probably think of 3 episodes, like ideas for 3 episodes, I should say. And I'm like, how did they come up with 85 more ideas? Because I'm like, what do you got? What do you got? You got an evil illegal fisherman coming after dolphins, right? You have one of the dumbass kids get trapped underwater, so the Flipper has to go help him. Actually, that covers 2 episodes because there's 2 kids. So one episode that kid gets stuck, and the next episode the other one gets stuck. All right, and then like what? Flipper has to fight. I don't know, a gator or something. I don't fucking some sort of other aquatic foe. And I'm just like, what else can you do with the show about a dolphin?
I'm glad Sparrow went the South Park route with that because that's kind of what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
But yeah,
Fucking you,
with
dolphin.
with with the kids in stuck in the water, it's like you can do that one as a 3-parter. So one kid gets stuck, the other it gets out, but then the other one gets stuck, and then they both get stuck, and then boom, there you go. You filled out a 3-episode arc right there, and
Yeah.
then it's like kind of. They made a video game called Echo the Dolphin,
Oh yeah.
just thinking about it, I'm like, how the fuck do you make a video game about a dolphin? And then I guess it's the same logic with how do you make a syndicated TV show about a dolphin?
You know, I honestly like I get the game like Echo, like I've played that before. That makes sense to me. Like
Oh, I buy
shit.
that.
And I wish I could remember the name of it. My buddy Ty is gonna fucking kill me. But there was a 32X game for the Sega, like the add-on.
Yep.
I forget what it was called, but you're basically the whole game. You're just a hummingbird.
I feel like I should know that because there's only like 15 32X games.
Yes, but it was surprisingly really cool. But so like you could do anything with a video game. That's easy. That's one thing. But uh how do you do 88 episodes? How do you do 88 episodes of 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 Flipper? You know what I mean? Like how do you fill the top? Like I'm guessing that on midway through season 2, that writer's room, everybody's just like, uh, put some trash in the water. He picks up trash. Next episode. You know
This
what I mean?
this will be our metaphor about the Food and Drug Administration. The game is Colibri.
Yes, yes. I knew it started with a K.
Oh, there's a
But-
canceled Castlevania game on there too. Huh. Oh, sorry. See, I could talk about that all day.
Big smooth. But yeah, it's funny the things that your mind wanders into, when I haven't thought of Flipper in years. I make David the Gnome reference jokes all the goddamn time. All right, if we're gonna get old with it, but Flipper, I completely like that. Got evicted from my mind. Like, I mean, if somebody said it, that'd be one thing. But like, I'm not sitting there actively killing brain. I kill brain cells in other ways.
You
But-
no, you temporarily disable brain cells another way.
David was, yeah. But and then when I was looking up the IMDb on Flipper to see how many episodes, I was telling Gabe this before the show. There was a fucking Flipper movie in like what 96 it said with Elijah Wood. And it was just like, what? It's like, okay, I've only known of like 2, okay, well now 3 if you're gonna count Flipper. 3 aquatic porpoise-esque movies, centric films. There was obviously Free Willy.
Free Willy.
And then there was obviously Flipper. I don't know which one came first. I feel like Free Willy was like 93-ish.
93,
maybe?
94, something
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
But then there was the one in 2010, 2011, the dolphin with the fucked up tail, a dolphin's tail or some shit like that.
Yeah.
There's like a real dolphin in Clearwater. The only reason I remember this one, all right, back in the day when I was the proprietor of pizza shops, when I was working in Clearwater, they were filming because it's this real dolphin in Clearwater's aquarium area or whatever. It's got like no tail, so they made this like fake wooden tail thing or whatever. You know, like when somebody in Nam loses a leg and they gave him that fucking kickstand. It's like that, but for a dolphin.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yes.
But they were filming that when I was living and working in Clearwater, and the people like filming like ordered pizza for me, so I had to make like 30 fucking pizzas for these people. Morgan Freeman's in that movie. I potentially have made pizza for Morgan Freeman.
And Ian came by with the pizzas.
Yes,
He
yeah.
made them very well. You could say that at one point you potentially could have been narrated without you knowing by Morgan Freeman. That's kind of a that's something. Wear that badge of honor. I'm gonna make you a patch.
And then I took a bite of my buffalo chicken pizza only to realize that there was no buffalo sauce. But I wasn't going to fault Ian for that. The old boy had tried as best he could.
He had to make 35 pizzas and get them down to the set in 30 minutes or less.
But it's funny though cuz like it's weird. There's another streamer that I watch, Game Squad. Ranked number 1 on retro achievements, by the way. Just throwing that out there. But he makes a lot of jokes about fucking Doug, the cartoon show Doug. And I'm just like, particularly Mr. Dink. I mean, there's some questions that we have about Mr. Dink that shall remain unanswered. But but I'm just like, man, I used to watch the shit out of that. Like I'm like, his name was Douglas Yancey Funny. He listened to the beats. You know, like I know all this weird shit. The first episode I think was the nematode one. And I'm like, why do I remember this?
it was an important part of your life, kind of like how I can remember Rocco's Modern Life going full Shining mode with Heifer, and the fact that it's a kids show. I gotta watch what I say. They jacked off Heifer in one episode, and that's 100% what happened, but you don't see it. They take a steer and attach him to the milking thing. I'm just saying. We know what happened. Pretty sure that's a sub genre on Pornhub, too. Give you a moment over there. But yeah, you just brought me back to like 95 with the bringing up that nematode episode. Oh, Ian had his own John Carpenter moment right there.
We all good. We all good.
Mr.
But yeah.
Big Head.
Big Smooth. Anyway, now that we're better. No, Rocco was fucking great, dude. Rocco, they got away with so much shit.
They got away with shit they cannot get away with now.
Just the name of their favorite restaurant alone, Chokey's Chicken. And then I love the, what was it, Satan? Well, I can't remember if it was supposed to be Satan or Death, but his name was Peaches.
Peaches, yeah. And Rocco worked for a sex hotline, and it was blatantly obvious that was what it was.
That's right. And then, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't one that I watched regularly. It was way after my time, but I saw bits and pieces of it. That Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh yeah.
And then were they the ones that had the chin guy? Like they had like a superhero that was like a chin that had like he was like the Crimson Chin or shit like that.
Yeah, it should have been played by Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. It made me think of Rocco's favorite comic book, Really, Really, Really Big Man.
Yes.
And I'm like, he would have beat the shit out of the Crimson Chin. I mean, unless it was Bruce Campbell. If it was Bruce Campbell, got to give it to the chin. But I don't think it was Bruce Campbell, so
It wasn't.
Big Man wins. But yeah, that's Flipper. Something I thought about the other day.
And now you have me questioning my sanity because I think my first introduction to Flipper was the Elijah Wood movie, not the show.
Oh, shit. Well, you know, I have to keep remembering because the conversations that I have with a lot of people, like the one-on-ones, catching it instead of my parents just kind of like sat me in front of the TV, like straight out the womb. They're just like, here you go. We got shit to do. You know, not in a neglectful, bad way. I'm not shaming it or mad about it. But they had shit to do.
Sure, yeah.
So I watched, like, the TV might as well have been one of my parents. I mean, I didn't learn shit. I mean, I learned shit, but not learning shit in a bad way. I'm going to cough for a hot minute. That was a
Can
big
I interest you in a Cheerwine Zero, sir?
one.
Oh.
But, that and I have, like, a weird memory. Like, obviously, as you can tell, someone with my extracurriculars shouldn't even have a memory. But,
You put the random access in random access memory.
yeah, I do. I really do. Because my wife will sit there and she's like, how the... I will remember a singular line from a movie I saw once 20 years ago. And she's like, how do you do that? And I'm like, but then she'll be like, when's our wedding anniversary? I'm like, oh, November. I'm like, let me tell you more about Ghostbusters 2.